What's up, everybody? Farmer Q here, and today we're gonna get the garden cleaned up and right because, goodness, we have let things get a little out of hand. But that's okay. We still have time, but we need to get it together while we still do have time. So we're gonna get back there, we're gonna get cleaning, and we're gonna get after it. Let's get it. All right, so we're just gonna kick it off with a little bit of watermelon harvesting. Of course, if we want to clear out the vines, we're going to have to go ahead and get the watermelon harvested, even if they're not all the way ready. It's unfortunate that this is the case, but some things in life just don't make it to the finish line. I will say, though, that I cut into one of them bad boys last night when we went to hang out with some friends, and everybody was very much impressed. In fact, it was this one right here. The odd shape, don't matter. Still worked out really well. And at this point, I'm just harvesting the last of the watermelon. And that's what we have left over right there. But now, we can actually get into harvesting the vines and getting them all out of the way. And as you can see, it was no easy task. It was very much like braiding or unbraiding hair that you really wanted to not be a problem no more. So I'm just chopping away at some of the bases of the stems and really just trying to get everything into a nice pile to the left of me over there. And now I'm doing a lot of the same things. And don't worry, we're gonna keep it short on that part of the end, but for right now, we just gotta get these vines out of the way. And there's no shortcuts about this part. And look at that vine right there. That's a thick boy right there. That vine is really, really strong and thick. And as I was getting rid of these vines, I just kind of got a chance to appreciate the way that they all grew and how strong they are. There's a little watermelon that never got to make it because it had a little blossom end rot on it. Yes, watermelons and cucumbers can also have blossom end rot, just like peppers and tomatoes can. And we're getting to the thick of it now. We got this wedding train of watermelon vines that we have made into a ball that we're trying to work out of our cucumber vines without breaking our cucumber vines. And you know, we actually did end up damaging a few of our cucumber vines, but they'll bounce back. And at this point, we're at the point of the vine pulling to where we're getting our fence right. Because our fence was the carrier for a lot of our watermelons, actually. We put bags on there. We actually let them just drape off of it onto the dog bed down at the bottom there. But we're just working with all the space that we have, because when you're dealing with a limited amount of space, it's really easy to get overwhelmed and not really use your space in the most effective way. But I'm here to tell you that that's one of my missions and one of my goals, to make sure that I'm making the best use of the space. So at this point, we're getting our watermelon vines ready to take on over to the Leo Elixir bin, and we're gonna have a good time stuffing that down up in there, but it would not go easy. And at this point, I was like, we gonna make this bad boy fit, and we will not be denied. We will not be denied. You see, I climbed up on top and I'm literally just stuffing it down. It worked out though, because I did have the ability to come back through and push it down the rest of the way. And not only that, we also have a tamp that we could put to good use to make sure that we're actually getting all of our vines nice and compressed and into the trash can. I guess it's not a trash can, but just a bin in itself. We got all our vines in there now. I'm gonna go back and get the last of the residual vines, of course. But once we do that, we're good to go with the tamp, and we're just gonna push it on down. Push it on down. Of course, we're gonna have to come back through and fill the water line to the top, but I didn't record that part because I just didn't get to it. At this point, I was like, okay, we're at a good breaking point. We're gonna get some water down in the garden. So I just got some water specifically down on the cucumbers at this point because the potted plants definitely get thirstier faster than the raised beds. So I have to give a little bit of extra love, a little bit of extra care to the actual pots and everything like that, but it's not something that I mind doing. In fact, I enjoy getting out here and getting some water down on the plants before the heat of the day comes in. And as you can see, I'm just kind of maneuvering through, but there's that. And yep, I cut down the okra plants. Sad day. Summer's over. We're not getting the production that we were once getting out of our okra plants, so we just wanted to get them out of there. And we also had to go back through and pull some of these big old nutsedge plants that really established themselves. The soil's so workable that I was able to actually get the nutlets out of it as well. Now I'm coming through on the Sugar Rush peach peppers and really giving them some extra support because the okra plants were the standing support for the Sugar Rush peach peppers, and as soon as I cut that okra down, we had a little bit of hanging going on, so we had to get that in check. And at this point, I'm just getting the rest of the sheep nose pimento peppers off the plants because I did do away with these as well because they had been growing so long and I hadn't been pruning them like I probably should, so the structure got a little bit out of hand. But even with the structure being all crazy like that, they still produce like crazy. And yes, I did do away with the True Gold sweet corn because it just wasn't getting to a point where it was going to make it really easily. I had one plant that actually gave me an ear of corn, and I just wanted to give the energy to the cucumber that was in that pot just so we can have the most production out of that particular plant because the corn was very much experimental. And at this point, I'm coming back through on the Trinidad yellow scorpion peppers and I'm harvesting as many of the ripe peppers as I can see. One thing that I did do though is actually leave the plants completely alive and intact because we had so many peppers that were unripe on there that I was like, we still got so much work to do as far as getting these peppers to the finish line. So these are very much alive still and they have shown no signs of slowing down. And look at the comfrey over there. Isn't she so pretty? Isn't she lovely? I just love that comfrey. Thanks to Stinky Puddle Ranch, fam. And now we're just going through the lemon tide plants and we're just picking through them and getting all of the ripe peppers off of them. And one thing that we did do was take these branches and we are actually letting them sit in the backyard right now in some sunlight in a relatively humid spot, but not too humid, and in a spot that's nice and warm so that we can allow them to ripen the rest of the way. So fam, check it out. We got the garden cleanup done. Now all we have to do is come back through and re-amend the soil in some spots and get everything right. But y'all, let's get a quick look at it. So as y'all can see, the vines, at least the watermelon vines, the cucumber vines are coming in strong, but the vines of the watermelon are no longer there. We got a few peppers. We got our comfrey and our turmeric back there. We got some squash and cucumbers over here, and we have cucumbers in the middle. But fam, we're gonna really fill in these spaces with some of our greens. We're gonna get some more seeds going. We're really gonna take advantage of the new space that we now have. So I hope y'all had fun with me while we got everything together to get ready for the next step of the fall winter gardening season. And y'all know what that means. That's Farmer Q out.